Good afternoon, young Groms. Today I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit about my relationship with Tim Smith, the founder, lead shaper, and head architect of Arc Surfboards out of Tiverton, Rhode Island. So Tim Smith and I met while we were both playing football at the College of the Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts. And there, we got to know each other, and he had mentioned he surfed, and a few years later, I think I was a junior, he was a senior, and he hit me up, said, hey, I'm going to go chase a swell in Massachusetts, do you want to come? And it was actually the first time that I ever surfed in New England was with him. At the time, I was still driving that really old beat up red car, and I was making vlogs with my solo shot. And this day just happened to be the day that I lost my solo shot due to the tide. So what I'm gonna do today is show you guys footage from the 3 surfboards Tim has made for me and walk you through the unique dimensions of each one of them. And first we are going to start with the 6'2". We have here the little 6'2" he made for me. It's an awesome board. It's 6'2" by 22 inches wide and 3 inches thick. And as you can see, I asked him specifically for no rocker, and I thought that meant really low rocker, and he really delivered an extremely low rocker board. It is extremely fast. He hooked me up with the 5-fin setup. It's got a twin fin in it right now because I was messing around with it. And he also made this board super solid. So it's extremely durable. Actually got it from him while we were surfing a slab up in North. Tried it out after surfing the slab at another spot that was kind of like a point, and it worked really well. It is probably the fastest board I've ever ridden. There's a little bit of a trade-off between, because it's so flat rocker, you can't turn as well, but you go really fast. And that's gonna be a trade-off with any board. But that's what I was looking for. Like a short little 6'2" that really zips around. I like it as a 3-fin best. I've tried it as a quad, tried it as a double fin, twin fin. And yeah, I want to show you guys a few videos of me riding it. I know I did one really good cutback on kind of like a steady cam. It's not the best footage, but it shows how the board is super drivey and you can really put it on rail. I also brought this thing with me down to South Carolina when I visited my sister and brought her home. So I got to surf all over Charleston on this thing, and it was perfect for down there. Threw an air on it in the summer at a home beach break, and kind of air out the back, a little bit of cheating, but yeah, it was sick. And right as I started med school, Tim designed and made for me my second board. And this was the board where our sponsorship kind of really took off. We're both really working hard to help each other's brands. And this board was really cool. We designed it for a while, and this is what I love about working with a shaper and having a local shaper do your work. During the whole process, he was sending me pictures. Where do you want the fins to be exactly? Do you want it this wide? Do you want to make the tail a little wider? Do you want to make it a little narrower? How do you want the rails? This all went down over the summer, and then we finally got the board right as I started med school, and I actually drove up and went to his house, slept over the Smith residence, and rode the board the next day. All right, young Groms, we just picked up the goods. I mean by the goods, we got the mini Simmons, the Arc Surfboard. We're out, we're gonna go get some waves. I'm late for school. Class in session. This board is an extremely radical design. It is 23.5 inches wide and only 5'10". So really wide tail, wide nose, and there's actually, as you guys might be able to see, there's actually a good amount of rocker for a board that's really designed for small waves. Some of the genius of Arc Surfboards is what they put into their concaves. So this board actually has a convex right here, and the front has a convex which kind of acts as like a planing hull. And then out the back, what it has is a slight double concave, and that helps you turn. So this board gets you into the wave really early with that hull. And then on smaller waves, you don't even need to ride a longboard because you're up riding on this massive tail, and you got that double concave, and it really turns well. This board has really got me excited about surfing. I rode a mini Simmons for the first time ever when I was maybe in 8th grade or so, and I fell in love with it. I was like, I gotta get my hands on one. I bought one maybe when I was in 9th grade, and then I actually had it stolen from me. I left it, I think, on top of my grandma's hedge on our house, and it was gone. So I've had a lifelong love of mini Simmons, and to be back riding one, I was so stoked. I rode this for a few times in punchy waves, in flat waves, but I really was waiting for a day to showcase it, and I think that day came. Thanksgiving of 2020, I was out with my extended family for the holidays, and a swell came through. We surfed a spot, a cool little point break, and I was waiting to try this out on like a pretty big size day. Like, this board only works from the smallest wave from 0 foot to head high. So head high on like a bigger, punchier day, the board gets kind of squirrely, but it really works well on that thigh high size. But I was waiting for a head high day when the waves weren't super punchy, and that's exactly what we had. The waves were about like shoulder high, decent push to it, but this board performed amazing. It was like a high performance surfboard. What I really love doing is like cutbacks on it. I could, plane across the first turn and then throw the second turn. Since the board's so loose, it kind of wraps around for you. Look at the footage right here. You can really see on that second turn, the board really wraps around well. And I did a few of these cutbacks today, and it was probably the best session I've ever had on that board. I ride the board all the time, off camera, on camera. When the waves are good, maybe when I could be riding a shortboard, I go for this thing because it just is so fun and it's so fast. And that's kind of what I love about surfing. I love going fast. You guys have seen me ride the Black Beauty all over New England. That's a fast board. This is an extremely fast board. And being someone who's around 240 pounds, this board still floats me. It's only 3 inches thick, but it's 53 liters, so I get a lot of good float on it. And yeah, it's just a great surfboard to have in your quiver. This brings me to the last board in the quiver, and it is definitely not the least. This huge board is the 710 Arc Surfboards gun. And it has a really wacky design. It's got a nice pintail, but the weirdest thing about this board is its nose. It's got a round nose, which is kind of weird looking, kind of awesome looking, looks like a torpedo, and the board is extremely thick. I've weighed as much during med school, up to like 250 pounds, so I need the float, especially on bigger days, and I don't surf all the time, so if it's gonna be a massive paddle out, I want the foam. This board is actually 3.5 inches thick, and we went with a quad fin. So it's got quad fin for like a gun. If you take the board and follow it like a normal gun, like a normal pointy nose gun or shortboard, it comes out to be an 8.6. So it's 60 liters, 3.5 inches thick, and 21 inches wide. So it's quite a beast. And I brought this board to surf really big waves. That's one of my goals. I want to surf a lot bigger waves. And this will definitely do it for at home for the East Coast. I think a 710 / like 8.6 is the biggest board I'll ever need to be on. So here it is. And yeah, I just love riding this thing. I haven't got the opportunity to ride it in like true double overhead. I think I might have caught a few waves up in Rhode Island that were maybe double overhead when I was on the bottom term, but I'm really waiting for like a massive day to ride this thing. So the coolest thing about this board is easily the carbon that Tim got on it. He imported it from Australia, and it's extremely structural, but it also looks like really cool. The stringer on this board is like a high density polyurethane, I'm not really sure. And then we also have this thick carbon band, and altogether it's an extremely solid board. And you're gonna get that just from having a super thick 3.5 gun. We also spent a ton of time designing the board. We were constantly sending text messages, emails back and forth, looking at potential outlines, looking at potential fin placements, and I think we got it dialed down. It's like a nice pintail. We went with the quad fin setup because that's what all the big wave guys ride right now. Recently, I've taken this board out in maybe head high to overhead waves at home at a local beach break and scored some really good waves with my dad. I think I got 4 barrels that day. We have a few on film to show you. And the board is definitely, I was definitely overgunned, but it doesn't matter because I was having so much fun and I was catching a lot of waves and, fighting the current, that the board worked great. I got in the tube and that's all I can ask. So I'm so stoked on this board. I'm gonna run a few of those clips right now. So both Tim and I kind of took a risk when I reached out to him and was like, I want this board. When he recently has been hooking me up with boards, I think it's been going really well. I would not have changed anything. It's awesome working with someone, and the coolest thing is to see other people start riding them. Bear Brink has himself a really cool 6'9" twin fin kind of Mundo. I think there's actually 3 boards Tim shapes. Is the Mundo, the Cobra, he makes a longboard too, and the Witcher, which is what I'm trying to get my hands on. It's like a short board, and that's gonna be one of our boards coming up. Also, you'll see Anson Rogers riding his Witcher. It's like a chop tail.
Riding the 5'7" Arc Witcher with the square tail.
That's the coolest thing, is he makes all these radical designs. You can check him out on Instagram at Arc_Surfboards, and I'm gonna run a few of the clips right now, just a few pictures of the boards. They're like really cool radical designs, and he makes them all out of epoxy and this interesting like carbon. I don't really know much about it because right now I'm just focused on doing the surfing and getting through medical school alive. But yeah, so we got Anson riding them, we got a bunch of people on an Arc. You'll see Brett on one soon, and a little sneak peek, what I want to tell you guys is that Tim and I right now are working on a 10-6 gun for me to surf some bigger waves. I got a lot of plans coming up, a lot of plans traveling hopefully in the future to catch waves, and yeah, I'm gonna need that 10-6 gun. So that's just be the little hint that I'll tell you guys, and also that I'm training every day.